All right, what's up, guys? I'm just getting set up in a rush. I kind of now have too many things to do. Things got set back a little bit, but I mean, gotta keep it going, right? So here we go. We have some Discord chats, a lot of Discord chat that I haven't been able to catch up on yet. So I'm gonna go over that. Also YouTube comments that I think I have been sort of neglecting for a couple days. So I'm gonna go over those as well. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Let's see how many I can get through. And right now I'm dual streaming to Discord. And so if you are in Discord and you wanna like chat with me, I need to actually have like some way of like seeing your chat because I'm sort of switching up. My screen isn't really for that. So give me a second while I figure out what to do. First of all, I will only be reading the chat in this chat. So where's what is this? How do you create that chat room for Discord? There's a chat room. Oh, here it is. So I'll be looking at this chat only. Yeah. Now I just need to figure out a way to pop it out so that it can be on my dashboard. So that it's not just. Dude, I don't know how to pop this out. Is there a way to? Oh, I see. You can pop out the window and then pop out. It's kind of awkward, but I guess that's one way of doing it. Now I need to have this on top of everything else that I'm already looking at. Okay, I guess I can kind of see. Yeah, I guess I can see the chat now. All right, so that's me. All right, so now I'm dual streaming to Discord, and nothing too crazy right now. So let's get into it. All right, so there's been a bunch of chat here on Discord. So I wanna catch up on some of these some of these conversations. Also, sometimes people. I mean, I love that people are. Hey, let me get rid of this timer on my screen. Okay, so I love that. I love that everyone is like trying to help each other out on like the reading and writing questions and sometimes the math questions in the server. But obviously, not everyone always explains everything in the way that I would recommend. So I'll go and do a little bit of policing, make sure that not too much like wrong information is being spread on the help channels. Before I get into it, though, I do want to just say I really need coffee, and I left my coffee out in the kitchen. I'm just in a rush right now, so I'll be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back. What a crazy morning already. All right, so welcome to the stream, Milan, T-Fly, and whoever else is viewing from YouTube. I'm seeing chats from both Discord and YouTube, so sometimes it'll be confusing who I'm responding to. Whatever, we'll just work with it. Okay, all right. I wonder if there's like a way to like combine the two into one. That would require quite a bit of coding. That'd be kind of complicated, but anyway. Wow, lots of people are joining. Okay. Yeah, I might need like now I might need like a bot to like actually say hi to people. Dude, that's so nuts. Okay. And I'm seeing a chat in the Discord right now coming to me, which is the T-Fly is asking, do I have any tips to grind English last minute? I mean, the law here is just don't do anything that reduces your confidence at all, because you don't need it. It's, like for example, for one student, like learning 100 words per day, learning 100 words per day for literally the last week leading up to a test might actually increase their confidence. Like it's like, oh, like these are words that I'm seeing and I really need to know, and I feel comfortable studying them, and I need to do this. And if that's increasing their confidence, I tell that student, yeah, keep doing it, even though I would actually tell 90% of students, don't do that. That's gonna harm your confidence. Most students should not be doing that, because all they're gonna do is pile up a bunch of words in their heads, get more confused, uh, and feel more uncomfortable with the vocabulary. So it's just, like there's no one answer for everybody. Like, if I'm only, for example, if I'm only teaching to the very middle of the pack, like in the normal curve, I'm only talking to median kids, then yeah, I guess I could just give just straight up like boring answers. Um, like here's some boring answers. Yeah, take a full practice test, time it, and manage your time better. Uh, Focus on hitting 35 minutes for 3 passages, and keep your energy up, keep your spirits up. I could keep it pretty simple like that if I'm only talking to the middle of the pack, but I'm not only talking to the middle of the pack. So I'm just gonna tell you what I really think, which is there's no real clear rule for what to do other than don't drop your confidence. So if you try something new and it's dropping your confidence, then don't do it. Just undo it. If you try something new and it does increase your confidence, then keep doing that. So generally speaking, I would not agree with. Generally speaking, the last 2 weeks should be when you are taking full tests and focusing more on your test taking mechanics rather than like new substance, like learning how to read history passage. Man, you should have already been doing that. So you should probably just accept the fact that you're not going to learn that much more history. You're not going to learn that much more like speech and debate conventions. You're not going to learn that much more science conventions. You're just going to be mostly just tuning your test taking mechanics. T-Fly, I mean, you could try that. I don't think that's a very good. I think you procrastinated too much. I think you should accept the fact that you're not gonna see that. You're likely not to see the big jump that you wanted, but as long as you can reduce your expectation before you go in, then you'll be less stressed. So I'm looking at. So that's T-Fly in the chat. I'm gonna just move over to the Discord right now, real quick. Hang on. I think Spicy Nuggets is literally typing into this because Spicy Nuggets knows that I'm streaming. Let me see what's happening. Let me back up though, because I think there was a bunch of conversation that I didn't catch up on. So let me see. Yeah, agree with that. So Sabin Pate is just asking. Cool. Oh yeah, this conversation. That was all right. We have like a philosopher in our midst. Is Helper out there right now? Helper the philosopher. Oh yeah, this I totally agree with. By the way, try to finish the 3. I mean, I think did Vonify get this idea from me? I assume he or she did. But try to hit 3 passages in 35 minutes. And when I say try, don't even try. Do it. Just do it, because it's not worth it. Like, let's say questions 16 and 24 and 32 are like stupidly hard. It's not worth you wasting your wasting all your time on those 3 questions, and then oh yeah, I got it to yeah, but I was at 38 minutes. It's still less than 13 minutes per pass. Dude, you're still wasting time. And you're wasting time on the 3 hardest questions that really are supposed to be aimed at the people who are getting 750 and trying to aim at 800, right? if you're not getting 750 in the first place, then why the hell are you wasting all your time on the hardest questions in the freaking test? It's stupid. Like, do not do that. It's not like math where the hardest questions are all sort of reserved at the end. You have to skip the hardest questions if you're not getting 780 even, right? Like, if you so skip it. Make 35 minutes or faster for the first 3 passages, no matter what. It doesn't matter. Now I don't actually follow my advice 100% because I am very confident that I'm gonna finish all the passages no matter what. But that's not going to be the case for you. So in this case, do not do as I do. Okay, do as I say. I don't like that phrase. I don't like using that phrase. But there is a reason why I don't always follow the 35-minute thing, because even if I don't try to finish within 35 minutes, like, it's fine for me. Okay, it's different. Also, we have Hung here. Hung, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Now I'm going to keep going through the August SAT channel just to see what else is happening. So Vonify is saying it's pretty easy to do if it's an easy SAT, but it should be easy to do if you only focus on the easy questions no matter what, right? You should always just hit the easy questions first. All the hard questions, they are like the final bosses, okay? And the final bosses can be literally question number 1 and number 9 and then question 32 or something. Don't waste all your time on the final bosses. Are there specific ones that you spend 11? Okay, yeah. You one thing about this is you can't predict this, okay? Like, sometimes my literature passages will take me 9 minutes, sometimes it'll take me 14 minutes. So just say you cannot predict this. Sometimes there's just an extra hard literature passage. So even though I say 35 minutes, and even though I like, mainly when I say 35 minutes and I say to sequence the easiest ones first, I'm mainly targeting the international students who are not as good at like literary English, and they're much better at like scientific English. So for them in particular, I tell them just get through the 3 science passages in the first 35 minutes. Just get that out of the way, and then you can kind of like get through the literature and history. You know, kind of circling, skipping, and returning for the hardest questions on the history and literature, and then you can take a big overview of the overall test and strategically choose the next couple. Like, let's say there are 8 questions that are still sort of like a little iffy. Like, choose the 3 or 4 that you have the time for to really get, that aren't like overly difficult, the ones that you can actually feel like you can get, right? So that's kind of like the target for most kids. But for if you're not necessarily super strong on science and relatively weak on the other ones, then honestly it might just be better to just go from 1 to 3, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Just go in the sequence, but still hit 35 minutes. Just get it out of the way. Just don't let yourself spend all your time on on the hardest questions. It's just stupid. It's not a good use of time. So you cannot predict which ones are going to take 11 or 12 minutes. There's no way. 15-day study routine for August SAT. Tips to lose weight. Tips to lose weight. Dude, tips to lose weight. Is this? Oh, are you watching the stream right now? I can't tell if you're trolling me. Tips to lose weight. Yo, eat less. Eat less. Wait, hang on. Find out your basal metabolic rate, and depending on how much activity you do, and eat less calories than that, and you will lose weight. There's a word for this. There's volumetrics, but volumetrics diet is, I think, the diet that kind of focused on this. But like, literally, it is a physical law. If you consume fewer calories than you burn, you will lose weight. So whatever diet you end up choosing, or whatever strategy, whatever workout strategy, whatever the heck you end up choosing, as long as you are burning more calories than you are consuming, you're good. Of course, it might take a long time. Let's say you are consuming 2,000 calories and you're burning 2,010 calories, and it's going to take you forever to lose weight. But the idea is you should be burning more than you're consuming. Okay. Now, when you do Some basic tips, dude. Walk. Walking is so good. So walking is the easiest thing you could do to start losing weight. Also, measure your weight every day at the same time, and that gives you a sense of progress when you immediacy of progress because you get feedback immediately instead of like checking your weight like every week. That's not frequent enough. You're not gonna feel the urge or the need to keep losing weight when you're doing it infrequently. At least not at the beginning. Not until you get stabilized. By the way, I did work at a diet coach app company, so I do have some ideas on this. But I'm gonna keep moving on. Start doing push-ups 50 a day. I mean, if you're motivated to do that, if that idea sounds good for you, then keep doing that. But if that doesn't motivate you, just walk. Do something that seems easy and pleasurable, and not like stressful. Like give yeah, that might actually make you gain weight. So just be careful that might have the opposite effect. Looking at 1,300 in August, 1,530 in December. I mean, dude, everyone can always do better, but like it's just like no, statistically speaking, I don't know. Are you naturally a 1,530 level student? Like, is your reading and your grammar that good already, and are you just sort of catching up on the test taking format, or is this literally, or do you literally not understand science concepts, history concepts, and literature concepts? You just don't understand them, and your grammar is weak. Then you're not gonna get 1530. Just not. You need this. SAT is not some bullshit test that you can bullshit your way through. It's actual skills and actual knowledge you need to have. So do you have those actual skills, actual knowledge? Then yes, you can get the level of score that you want. That is relevant. That is relative to your level of skill and knowledge. It's not just because it's English doesn't mean it's just suddenly like some like magical, like foofy woofy, like ethereal thing where you just chant and it suddenly works. It doesn't. It's actual skills, actual knowledge. Just like math. You can't cheat. You can't cheat math that much. Same thing with reading. Same thing with reading and writing. You can't really cheat it that much. Okay, so just be ready to put in the knowledge, get the knowledge and improve the skills. Get the knowledge, improve the skills. How much practice have I done? Yeah, so like people kind of know what people say about this, but I'm gonna keep going. All right. But like as a quick metric, man, am I the top 1% in all of America? Is my IQ top 1% in all America? Is my English writing top 1% in all America? When I look at the writing contests that high school students, like they submit writing contests, right? And they write their little essays and they did it on their own. They didn't get someone else to help them, right? Am I similar to them in level or not? If you are, then you're going to be top 1% in SAT. It's directly connected. Same thing with reading. Am I out of all of my classmates and as far as I can tell, right? Out of all of my classmates, am I the top 1% in like reading things and understanding it? If you are, then you're gonna have a top 1% SAT score once you get through the initial test taking mechanical issues, right? As long as you like fix up your strategy and whatnot. But if you're not, now you're dreaming, and that's not a bad thing. Dream. But now turn that dream into actual concrete plans. Do it. Learn how to be the 1%. Follow what the 1% do, right? Now, by the way, 730 for reading would be not top 1%. It would be top, hang on. Reading, writing would be, that's like a top, like, it's less than the top 10%, but hang on. Let's actually look that up. Percentile. Oh no, yeah, it's definitely the top 10%. Let's go look at this. I guess we'll use Prep Scholar. Beep, 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 beep. But there's, you have to, everyone, if you want to improve, you have to face the reality. You have to accept the reality and then be like, okay, now what? So 1530 is still the top 1%, according to these percentiles. Wow, that's actually shocking. I mean, I knew that these were like 0.1% or whatever, but I'm actually a little shocked that 1530 is top 1%. Okay, so are you the top 1%? Like, is that your actual ability? I have some kids who have a lot of heart, who are good, who are diligent, but their reasoning abilities are not top 1%. They're just not. So they're not going to hit the score that they want. They're not, at least not in the next 2 months. You have to improve those reasoning abilities. Definitely not in the next 2 weeks. If you're aiming at August and you're suddenly realizing, oh my God, I'm 1300, but I'm trying to get 1500. Yo, 2 weeks, that's insane. Actually, learn the learn how to reason, learn how to read, learn how to write. Write as in the how to how to edit really is what that is. But learn and improve those skills. Would I? Oh hell yeah, 10,000. That's a lot of money. Of course I would. I'm not. I'm not that rich where that doesn't make any. That doesn't make an impact. You know what I mean? Uh, Look back, mostly carefully. Add a delete advice. Okay, manifested my June SAT score. Uh, so manifested. That's interesting. I feel like everyone's just gonna keep switching over with me, but like, guys, I kind of wish you would just chat with me in the. For now, uh, for one quick for adder deletes, and for adder deletes, you need to just pay attention. The first step is, if you're really weak on it, the first step is to pay attention to verb tenses and pronouns and nouns. Okay, synonymous pronouns and nouns. Oh, and also look for time and place, logical phrase, time and place phrases. Okay, just start with the basics there. That's going to get you through like 70% of them, or 70-80% of them. Then the harder adder deletes requires a little bit more work, but for those, just pronouns, verb tenses, and what I can't speak right now. Pronouns, verb tenses, and time and place phrases. Okay, so that will get you through 80% of them. For introduction, best inclusion or introduction, this requires you to actually read. So if you're doing the questions and not really reading the passage, then read the passage first, and then try doing and try looking at my streams and seeing how I do it. If you don't know what I mean by reading first. Okay. Do I like Walter White? I do like Walter White. He's a very intense character, and I like him as a character. I mean, not as I would not want to meet him in person. That would suck. I do not want to meet him in person. But as a character, what a great character! It's just such a great character. I love that character. They wrote such a good character. We have some inspirational speakers up in here, Milan and Muffin. Milan and Muffin just inspiring us. Thank you for the inspiration. But I would just say one thing: believing in yourself is also very strong, but there's a spectrum. Okay, there's some people who don't believe in themselves enough relative to their ability, to the factual ability. Okay, and there's some people who believe themselves way beyond their factual ability. Now, I think psychological research says that even if you believe beyond your ability, okay, it actually can help narrow your focus enough that you actually increase your ability that way. The belief the ability can track the belief, as in you can kind of use the force of your belief to sort of pull together your abilities, and you actually become better at something just by believing in it. Okay. That said, okay, some people exist who have very, very strong belief and desire and ambition, right? But they're not admitting the reality of where, at the nitty-gritty level, oh, this is the mistake I made. This is what I said to myself. This is what had happened. They're not actually processing the little facts, right? They're ignoring the facts and just believing. You're going to set yourself over a huge disappointment. There's still it's not like believing and ability have no dialogue whatsoever. They still chat with each other. It's just that belief is the one that sort of drives the direction forward. But you can't completely ignore the ability. They have to be speaking to each other and in dialogue with each other, and And so that might be none of you. There's like what? How many people are watching me? There's like maybe like 8 people watching me on Discord and YouTube, but like, or whatever, 5, 6. But like, out of you guys, maybe none of you have that problem. But I'm not only speaking, like, I don't know what exactly your situation is. Some people really do have that problem where their dialogue between their ability and their belief is completely non-existent, and they're not looking at the nitty-gritty, the little details of like where the mess ups were. That's like playing drums with like freaking earplugs in. You have to listen to the facts. Like, I'm making these mistakes. You have to hear it immediately. So those are some thoughts there. Okay, going on. Oh yeah, and by the way, guys, quick announcement: I will be taking the October SAT in June. I'm sorry. Why did I say June? I meant October. In fact, I want to double check if College Board got back to me to confirm my thing. Okay, so there's no confirmation, but at least what that means is they haven't canceled my registration yet. So yes, sometimes they will like cancel my registration. So I'm just I just need to make sure that's not happening. Okay, so nothing else. So that's my little thing from October SAT channel. I'm gonna go down to the suggestions channel. Okay, nothing there right now except some crazy ideas that we had a while back. I really am very interested in doing that in the future. Although right now, I feel like that's a little low priority because of how much it'll cost me. Increase your conference. Yeah, if you are organizing a conference, make sure to increase attendance, make that money. More grind practice. Yeah, that definitely is true though. I mean, if you've just not been practicing for the if you've already done 100 practice tests and suddenly you do 20 more practice tests in the next 2 weeks, I think that's not gonna make a huge difference. But if you've done like 2 practice tests so far and now you do 20 practice tests in the next 2 weeks, that's gonna make a much bigger difference. So just be aware that that's gonna have a different impact there. Can I make a video about solving the SAT exam? Guys? Like, oh, can everyone make the video? Hey guys, can you guys make a video? If you guys want to, I welcome it. We need more smart people doing SAT stuff on YouTube. But for me, can I make a video about solving the SAT? I don't know really hung on YouTube. I don't really know what you mean by about solving the test, but I do need to write up a video where I just sort of do a summary of what my strategy is. So I do need to do that sooner rather than later. I've just been pushing it up because summer's been insane, but finally I'm having some more time. So in the next week or two, I'm going to be starting to brainstorm how to create a daily schedule again, because now summer is past. So what kind of daily schedule can I commit to, and what kind of content, and how much content can I actually be producing during that time? So once I settle that, then I'll start brainstorming ideas for, what kind of stuff to actually make. You guys can look forward to that. Unless you kill it on the August SAT, which I hope you guys do. If you kill it on the August SAT, then I assume that you're going to be less active, obviously, in the SAT channels for sure. So I'm going to need more ideas for what to do with non-SAT stuff. But for now, this is still primarily an SAT Discord server and primarily an SAT channel. That's not my long-term vision, but that is currently what it is. So it's all good if you guys do really good, and you guys just drop in every once in a while to say hi. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. Did you sub? Yeah, you should do subtopic practice. I mean, I think last 2 weeks is a little late, but maybe reserve the final week for full test and time management and energy management, like the mechanics of taking the test. But the first week, if you only have 2 weeks and you procrastinated and now you only have 2 weeks, I think it's better to at least focus on your weaknesses first. Okay, so work on those, and then for the final week, do the tuning. I think GeoGuessr did not come back, so gonna focus on. Yeah, this question. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I'm kind of curious how people explain this one. Oh, Milan. Milan is typing in the Discord chat about how he agrees with everything. Oh wait, what? This is 20 minutes ago. How come I just saw this? Yeah, but Milan was saying in the Discord chat, in the Discord streaming chat, that that even on math and writing, you can still improve a lot in the last 2 weeks. And it's true that for most kids, the time management is not a huge issue for you. Is not anywhere near the same level of difficulty as for reading. So with writing and math, since you don't have to worry that much about strategic, like test taking mechanics as much, you just need to worry on like more on like knowledge and processing speed. Um, like it does improve a lot more smoothly, writing and math. So keep in mind that everything I've been saying about like the lead up to the final 2 weeks before the test, that's primarily I was talking about reading. Yeah, I guess I didn't differentiate or I didn't clarify how I was differentiating that very clearly up front. I'm very curious how people actually come with this because I love this question. I love this question because it's real writing, and and people people suck at like most students who get super overtrained on like these test books. They can get up to like maybe 40 out of 44, right? But the final four questions on the writing test, they really struggle because now you have to be able to synthesize all that stuff and think about the real way that you can actually write effective sentences. And this is one of those questions. Okay, it's like, but if you're not getting 40 out of 44 already, then I would say this is probably not the most high priority question. You should really just work on learning the rules, right? Learning the rules that'll get you from, right now maybe you're getting 32 out of 44. Just get to 40 out of 44 first, right? And then focus on this question because this is more about synthesizing. And it's not as straightforward as some of the other ones. Unnecessary comma. Let me just go and double check this unnecessary comma. No, it's not unnecessary. No, those aren't unnecessary commas. Those commas are not unnecessary. Those are fine. Uh, okay. And this is just a different question altogether. I want to see if anyone else replied to the. Is this maybe them talking about that right now? Okay, this is Simone. A sounded weird, yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna create a thread for Simone. There's redundancy, Milan said. I didn't see that till just now, so let me go back and. I don't think there is this redundancy to it. This may cause her. It's hard to say that that's redundancy because they got rid of it. The events dismayed Simone. So let's get rid of B because no one's really thinking about B. The events, to her dismay, caused her in 1964 to write and perform her first poetic song to express her anguish. Oh, I actually had never thought about the pronoun aspect of this, but in C and D, you can actually use the fact that there's no that Simone doesn't get directly referred to, but I can only be confident in this if I double check the previous paragraph, and I don't remember which test this is from, but in the previous paragraph, if it in the previous paragraph, especially if it doesn't really say Simone, then C and D is a little sus just because of all the hers, and it doesn't refer to Simone. There's no antecedent for her. Nevertheless, C and D, just because you can cross out the her, it wouldn't necessarily make you 100% confident that they're wrong, and you would still feel awkward about A because you guys are not actually good writers. So you need to know why A is actually really good writing. So we need to get back into that in a second. Okay. So the pronouns thing and the redundancy thing, I don't fully agree with, but the pronouns thing does help. Okay. The pronouns thing does help if you're kind of leaning towards A and you're like, and then you're like stuck between C and D and you're like, wait, but none of those pronouns, her, they never refer to Simone. And then you could be like, I'll bet on A. Now, I'll tell you why A is actually correct, because no one actually said, it looks like I'm kind of rushing it real quick, right? I'm rushing what everyone's saying, but it seems like it was answered here. I'm just trying to make sure that has the least punctuation while meaning the same thing. That's not the best example, but this is still a generally good rule to follow for trying to get 40 out of 44, okay? 40 out of 44, it'll be a good, and in fact, I think if you just use this rule, you might still be able to get the right answer, especially with my sentence, avoid punctuation if possible. No, but like if you look at that, that's still technically, C and D are technically shorter than A. So, that's not hard. It's not necessarily gonna get you to the right answer just for this one. So, Clancy's like, how to get a girlfriend? Don't be an asshole is probably the beginning. But I guess there are some people who like assholes. So you know what? Just you live and you learn. Just try and fail and try again. So I'm gonna go back to A and B. Looking at A and B and A and C and D. Here is my explanation finally. Okay, so right now the subject of the previous two sentences, there's a backlash against civil rights. Then we have the news of violent acts carried out. Okay. Then in all four of these choices, we have the events. The events are the subject. Okay. Now we're looking at C first and explain why C is wrong. The events, to her dismay caused her. Now, some of you do not know what to her dismay means, but it means, in a way that upsets me. Okay? So, upsetting in a way that's upsetting to her. Right? But like, the thing is that, or no, you know what? I'll give a better synonym. Regrettably, okay? The events, regrettably, caused her in 1964 to write and perform. Okay, there's a couple of things that are really strange about this sentence, okay? The first thing is, to her dismay caused her, makes it sound like she didn't want to be caused to write and perform. But that's weird, because that's her choice. She's not regrettably caused to write and perform. Okay, so logically, those words don't work together. Like, it's like me saying, as an analogy, my girlfriend is sad. I'm gonna go comfort her, to my dismay. Now it makes it sound like I'm the worst boyfriend in the world, because now it sounds like I don't want to comfort her. I don't want to comfort her, but to my dismay, regrettably, I have to comfort her. That's what it sounds like, right? So logically, C would be wrong for that same reason. Grammatically, C would be wrong, and stylistically very awkward for another reason. The events caused her to write and perform. Guys, many of you do actually write like that in your high school papers. That's bad writing, okay? The events caused her to do this and that. It makes her less of an agent, and it's not very good. Like, it's not stylistically very good to just being like, the events caused her to do this thing, okay? You might say the events inspired her to do this thing, okay? But you wouldn't say that, like, she's like this little cog in the machine, and then these things are causing her to do that thing. So, if anything, now that I think about it, instead of grammar and style, we could actually call that more of a vocabulary problem. Like, you don't use that word that way, okay? So D is closer than C, okay? Because the D the D dismaying her at least logically makes sense. The events dismaying her caused her in 1964 to write and perform, but that is still awkward because it still says that the events caused her to write and perform, which is like not a good way to use that word cause. Okay, she's not like a little gear in a clock. Okay, she's a person. Okay, so going back to A, why is A correct? The events so dismayed Simone that in 1964 she wrote and performed. You guys, apparently you guys just don't know the word so and that. You guys don't know the sort of paired conjunction so and that. Such that and so that is a very basic. There's a word for this. I forgot what the name of it was because I haven't been teaching writing for a while. But I'm gonna call it a paired conjunction. Okay, where the conjunction is the word that, and then the so or such is the sort of adjective adverb that sets it up. Okay, so he is so upset that he tore up his own exam paper, right? Everyone knows that construction. It's just that you're not used to that verb dismayed being used very frequently. So these events so dismayed him that he tore up his own paper. But it's the same construction. It is. And it's a good construction to use when you want to emphasize how strongly something affected something else. Okay, so the so that construction is a very efficient construction. It also doesn't. Going back to what Muffin is asking about in the YouTube channel, it also doesn't do that weird thing with the word causing, right? Oh, this caused him to do that, and this caused them to do this, right? The events dismaying her caused her to write and perform. It avoids this sort of like awkward use of the word cause, where you're just telling we're just making the events cause the person like they're some sort of puppet. So that's a very unusual. That's like it's not a very good use of that word. You get to have Simone just saying that she wrote and performed. Okay, final thing for C and D is that the pronouns her. There's so many pronouns that that never refer to the word like they never refer to Simone ever. So that's kind of strange as well. So C and D have enough like problems that you can't just say in an obvious way, oh, this is absolutely wrong. But it's just stylistically, there's so many problems with it. You just should not choose C and D when you can see A. Okay, so that's that. If A doesn't sound natural to you, you gotta keep rereading that sentence and rereading other sentences with so that until it becomes natural to you, because it's a completely natural sentence, and to me it sounds completely natural. The event so dismayed Simone that in 1964 she wrote and performed her first protest song to express her anguish. Okay. Yes, Dhruva is asking about, because it doesn't ever refer to Simone. Yes, for me, I still am a little iffy on. I can't say that's 100% why C and D is wrong, because technically you can still say she as long as in the previous paragraph we mentioned Simone and we kind of put the focus on Simone. So, like, that's not a 100% answer, but it would be good enough for most students if you just saw C and D and were like, wait, where's her? We're like, what's all the hers referring to? And then you're like, that's a little sus. You should be able to eliminate C, like 90% confidence that C and D are wrong just based on the her. That's true. Any tips for students that are international? I'm going to come back to that later. Muffin's saying this is his own channel. Yeah, Hung, so... I'm not sure what you're saying, Hung. If you have more specific things to say about the help that you need, I think it'd be more. I'd be able to help you a little bit more. Okay, like let me know what your studying has been like, and update. Like, can you be a little bit more specific with what your struggle is? Because people keep asking me to, like, people can always ask other people to help them, but you asking me for help takes you 10 seconds. Me actually helping you takes me hours. So the more specific you are, the more likely you're going to actually get help. So be aware that, like, yeah, just because I'm out here, like, it doesn't mean my time is somehow unlimited. I want to help more. I want to help the most people in the most effective and efficient way, which doesn't necessarily mean I'm just gonna do everything that people ask me to do. I'm gonna do what I think makes sense and what I think is beneficial for the majority. But if you tell me what you're struggling with, then it will give me ideas about what to make. So I'm gonna go back down to this. I realize that this explanation for this question, right, is gonna be it's gonna go over some of your heads, because it would be so much. This question would be so much easier if there was just like the 100% black and white, wrong, wrong, wrong. But C and D, the closest to 100% you can get is that pronoun. The closest to 100% you can get is that pronoun. I guess the other thing that really helps is like, to her dismay / dismaying her. Does that sound awkward to you? That can help you, right? But a lot of these are not these are not black and white rules. Whereas A, it is a good sentence, but you have to be able to know that, right? And how do you know that? You have to familiarize yourself with that, such that construction. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna keep going. Wait, I'm kind of confused. Did this question come out twice in a row? Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at 23, 25 real quick. We're looking at 23 first. Oh, yeah. And then 25. This is just a little like low quality, but it can kind of subconscious level. Oh, yeah. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's see what the explanations are and see if I have anything to add. Yeah, this is absolutely correct. It is an example, so you need a colon. Colon, set it up. And then, I mean, it's redundancy. So between A and B, you should be like, well, you don't need betraying and showing. You just need betraying. So using the word betraying. If you don't know that the word betraying can mean like revealing something that's supposed to be hidden, okay, then that's a vocabulary problem. But you should be able to go straight to comma betraying, because it's betraying and showing is redundant. And then beyond subconscious level, beyond conscious awareness is also redundant and also illogical. Beyond awareness, it's like under, but beyond is like a funny word for that one. But anyway, you don't need. That's just the definition of subconscious, so you don't need to define subconscious when the word subconscious is a common word. Okay, so C is incorrect for that reason. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. That word's you guys have to get used to that word. So. Yeah, and then I remember this is yeah, those are so far good advice so far, so I have nothing really to add here. So hard to read. No, the people canceled their subscriptions, not the editors. No, why would the editors cancel their subscriptions? The editors are the ones. Yo, guys. Yo, wait. Yo, hold up. It's people canceling. It's like saying Saul is canceling his own YouTube. No. We're talking about you guys unsubscribing from me. So it's the people canceling the subscriptions to Strand. I can't tell. Clacy, are you whatever, yo, good luck with everything in your life. Keep going on. I'm just gonna move on to math. Do we have anything here? Okay, no. Yep. I was caught up in math. Just double checking the YouTube chat because I haven't looked at it in a bit. Okay. Uh, Muffin dealing out the advice in the YouTube chat. Nice. Gonna. This is talking about how to read better, right? So Weasel's asking about this. I see. Read passage in order to review. Vonify. Oh, this is Vonify asking about this. Yeah. So one comment about doing the easiest passage first is one of the biggest benefits of doing the easiest passage first is that you don't stress yourself out that much. Like when you have the hard when you have a when your first passage right out the gate like breaks your brain, then what happens is that you would start making mistakes that you wouldn't otherwise make on the following passages, right? Even if all of the other passages are actually supposed to be super easy for you, you'll start making unnecessary mistakes because unless you are the kind of kid who really is good at managing his or her own emotions, right? And there are people like that, but most kids, you're gonna have a hard time separating that feeling of being all rattled, okay, and containing it and keeping it from actually affecting your performance on the other passages. So it is. I do not recommend taking the hardest challenge on first. Always start with the easiest one first. If it's obvious to you which one's easier. Obviously, the big caveat is you never really know 100% if a passage is going to be easy until you actually read it. At which point, once you've read it and you get into it and you realize it's really hard, would you back out and read something else? If it's a super 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 big emergency, maybe if you're not hitting really high scores, we can actually talk about creative strategies like that. But generally speaking, at that point, it should be like, okay, just try to get all the easy questions then. Okay, it's a hard passage. Okay, you got screwed. You read it anyway. Now just at least get the easy questions out of the way and don't waste all your time on the hard questions. Okay, so that's, I think, the sort of order operations. Okay. Try to go with the easiest passages first, but once you read it, and if it's not the easiest, then go through all the easiest questions, move on. Come back to it after you finish the test, after you finish all 5 passages, when you can have a little bit more perspective that you're not all rattled emotionally, like, oh my god, is this gonna ruin my SAT score? I need a 770, right? And you're like calculating how many questions you're allowed to get wrong. Don't do that. Don't freak out like that, okay? Just take the easy questions, move on. Okay, I'm moving on so that's pretty good stuff. I mean, Clinksy, I don't think you're being serious, dude. So I'm not going to answer you. Let's see. I noticed a common trend in my mistakes. Let's see. Yo, Organic, you actually asked me this in a different somewhere like a long time ago, and I completely missed it. I don't remember where it was, but yeah, I was intending to come back to it today, actually. Just double checking the YouTube chat real quick, but yeah, coming back to this in a sec. Common trend in my mistakes in the reading section. I struggle especially with the science passages, more with double science passages. It took 13 minutes to complete the last passage. 6 questions. To only questions. It was the last passage. I mean, it sounds like 13 minutes is actually not a lot of time. So that's the first thing. If you're not good at science, then you would have. I think you would easily have benefited. Muffin, we could actually discuss that. But Organic, I feel like you would easily have benefited. Okay, if you had like let go of maybe 2 hard questions. Okay, like let's say that you're talking about questions 41 to 52. Okay, that's the double passage science. But let's just pretend that on question 22 and 33, you actually sunk 2.5 minutes or more on both of them just to get those 2 correct. And let's say those 2 are really hard questions. So let's say you only got 1 of those correct. So that means you spent 5 minutes just to get 1 point. Okay. Now imagine this alternate universe where you actually only spent 1 minute each, and you're like, wait, I look at the question stem on 22. I have no freaking clue where I'm supposed to look in the passage. I'm just going to be doing random guesses. Then you look at A, B, C, and D, and you're like, oh my God, I can only eliminate 2 of these. And then the other 2, I don't know where they come from, right? At that point, you have a decision you can make. You could be like, okay, let's just spend another minute and a half just like looking for it and looking over the entire passage. You can do it. It's fine. But what are you immediately paying up? Like, what is the cost of that, right? You do that on 22, you do that on 33, and what's going to happen is you're only going to have 13 minutes at the end for the 5th passage. So I think actually you might be looking at localized, you might be looking at the science passages and assuming that that's the problem, but that might not be the problem. The problem might actually be that you're wasting too much time on the 5 hardest questions in the entire test. Out of 52 questions, you can still get a ridiculously high score while getting 5 wrong. Those 5 questions are going to be extremely hard to get anyway. The likelihood of you getting it right, even if you spend 3 minutes on it, is still low, right? Those are the final bosses. Leave the final bosses for the end. Leave the final bosses for after minute 60, once you've already finished all the other passages. Once you finish all the passages, you have like maybe 5 minutes left, 3 minutes left, or whatever. Then you come back for the final bosses. Now, if you have 5 final bosses, choose 2 of them, right? Choose 2 or 3 of them. You don't have to get you don't have to get all 52 of them. Just get this is not Pokemon. You're not catching them all, right? Just get the least hardest final bosses out of the way with the last couple minutes. The benefit of going back afterwards is that you get to have more perspective, right? First is you get to choose the easier final bosses, so that's the first thing. And second is when you reread the question stem with some time in between, with time to like sort of rest your brain in between, you might actually notice some words that you didn't notice the first time because you were feeling so pressured the first time. Now you're a little bit more relaxed. You know that you already finished the whole test. Now, in a relaxed manner, when I read this question stem, I'm like, oh, I'm seeing all these words that I didn't see the first time or didn't pay attention to the first time. It'll make you a lot better. I guarantee you will benefit from feeling that feeling of being like, oh, I have some time to go back and look over these questions. That feeling is such an important feeling to have. You need to experience that feeling once. Okay, so going back to then the double science, if you spent only 2 minutes on questions 22 and 23 and 33, right? Then you get to question 41. Now you finally have 3 extra minutes, okay? And those 3 extra minutes would turn to 16 minutes. I don't think you would have made. When you know that you have 16 minutes, when you read the passage, you're not going to be as rushed. You know, you're going to read it. Oh, I have 16 minutes. That's not like a shit ton of time, but it's enough. Right, 16 minutes, I can read it at a natural pace. Then you will retain more information. And when you go to the question stems, you'll know what it's talking about and you won't make so many mistakes. Okay, so that's my prediction for how that process would go for you. Oh, okay. All right, I cleared out the Discord server so far. Now I haven't really been paying attention too well to the YouTube chat, so I'm gonna move on. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, when advice backfires. Richard Lee. I'm trying to figure out, do I know Richard Lee? But no, I don't know Richard Lee. You're like, OMG, Saul, hi. You're sounding like, are you one of my students? Right? But I don't think I know Richard Lee, so I think we're good. Yeah, what's up, Richard? Do I have advice for how to warm up before the first reading passage? Richard, if you haven't ever tried this, and you might want to just change the order. So if you're good on science passages generally, and they feel more comfortable for you, just try starting with the second passage first, and then going back to literature. Maybe leave the literature for number 4 or number 5 or something, or whatever feels comfortable for you. But try switching it up. Not everyone likes switching it up. Okay, so if you try it and it turns out it doesn't really do it for you, maybe try it on more than one test. I would suggest, but Try it a couple times, see what happens. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. But I do think that might make a big difference for you, because if you are naturally a scientific thinker, starting off with something that's not intuitive for you, like literature, where you have to like understand characters and stuff, and like figure out their emotions, and like be like, oh, I'm obese, but can I get a girlfriend? Right? If you are all stuck on that, it might really, you might be making more mistakes than you really need to. Okay. But once you get warmed up on the science passages, then you can come back to literature, and then it might feel more intuitive for you how to get through that. Alexandrina, it's been a long time. I remember your name. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it does feel like a long time. Welcome back to the stream. Now, dude, I've been like rapping for like an hour straight. I think I'm really happy that a lot of people are joining in on the stream, but I do have a full day today. I have a lot to get through today. So today, I have to sadly leave this alone. I'm going to be, in the next 2 weeks, I still have a bunch of different schedules, right? So I'm also kind of like a little fuzzy on how everything's going to work out with my streaming and my YouTube. And then hopefully, not just streaming, but hopefully my actual YouTube content. But in the next week or two, I'll be sort of like forming clearer plans, and I will be trying to stream as much as possible. Today I could only do this 1 hour-ish, so sorry I couldn't go much longer. But guys, I'll see you guys around. If you have further questions, join in on the Discord server. You can ask each other. You can help each other out. And by the way, on the flip side of the help, no one has to ever feel obligated to help anybody. Like, doesn't matter. Like many of you have really good hearts and intentions, so you want to help, and I acknowledge that. I love that. Thank you. And I'm trying to do what I can as well to contribute. But I just want to remind you guys, because I don't have like rules really on the Discord server yet, because it wasn't really that big, so I was just keeping it chill and sort of free for all. But as the Discord server gets a little bigger, right? It's not huge, but as the Discord server is starting to get better, I do want to remind you guys that some people they give very low effort questions, and if you don't feel like helping them, it's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. No one has to help anybody. So don't feel. On the flip side, on the one side, there are people who just take, and you don't really help at all. And I kind of think, you would actually benefit a lot if you did give, because by giving, you actually learn more as well. So for you guys, for those people, for you guys, I would recommend, just try offering your ideas, even if you're not 100% sure. Even if you're not as confident as some of the people on our server who just like, this is it, right? You don't have to talk like that. You can talk in a less than confident way. You can just be like, oh, wouldn't it be like this, or couldn't it be this, or I think it might be this, right? You can say it like that, but just offer your guesses, and I believe that by giving, by helping, you will actually grow as a thinker in your reading and your writing and your math. Okay. Flip side is the other group of people I was talking about, like the other side of the spectrum I was talking about. Some people are helping a lot, and you feel some obligation to help even when people are not clearly not trying that hard on their questions. It's okay. You can ignore anyone that doesn't make you feel like you want to help them. Okay, there is the art of a good question, right? There is a sort of art to it in the sense that like you can ask a question that many people want to answer, and you can ask a question that nobody wants to answer, and that's really on you. Like if you ask a question and nobody wants to answer your question, it's not because everyone sucks. It's probably because your question is like sounds exceedingly selfish or lazy, or extremely broad and impossible to answer. It doesn't always have to be selfish or lazy. It doesn't have to be like a pathological thing. But there are good questions and there are bad questions. So in the sense of like people wanting to actually answer them and help you out. So if you find that other people are not really responding to you, hey, you can even chat with me. Like, Saul, I'm in your server, I'm asking questions, but nobody's really like giving me any love. We can chat about it. But because I don't think most of the times I don't think it's anyone's intention to be like that. But the way that you're asking questions might actually be kind of rubbing people the wrong way. So we could work on that, man. Because that's a part of life. It's a part of living and growing and thriving. Like asking questions that people want to help you with. Do you know how valuable that is? in life. You're the kind of person when you're like 25 and you're starting up your own little company. And whenever you ask a question, people want to help you. Versus whenever you ask a question, nobody answers. Such a big help in life. You got to get good at that. All right, so that's me, man. Yo, guys, uh, no question is dumb. I don't 100% disagree with it because the intention. See, for me, the words themselves are one thing, but there's the intention behind the words, the purpose for those words. The no question is dumb statement, I also use that statement, even though I agree with everything I just said. But the reason, the time that I use that particular statement, no question is dumb, is when I'm talking to primarily people who are very nervous about asking questions, right? And they don't realize that by asking the question, they become smarter. The process of asking itself is the learning process, is part of the learning process. So I do use the no question is dumb kind of formulation. I also say, let's just guess. Maybe you don't know. Let's just guess. What do you think might be the right answer? I use those formulations to kind of help people who are hesitant to share their thoughts to be more comfortable sharing their thoughts. Because I teach in Korea, where people are a lot more reticent than in America. Where America, the extroverts are very, very highly, what do you call it, incentivized. We sort of cheer on the extroverts. It's like, whoa, right? But in Korea, it's not the same culture. So yeah. So it depends on the situation. Depends on the situation. I'm like a Japanese. I'm like a Japanese. I guess I'm like a Japanese because my hair. But Koreans are Koreans, Koreans. Koreans, we got our own thing going on too. All right, so guys, I'll see you all in the next stream. I think I will probably stream tomorrow. I think I probably will. I'm not gonna make any promises because I'm terrible with scheduling my life in advance. So maybe I will stream tomorrow. But generally speaking, in the coming couple of weeks, you'll notice me online a lot more compared to the past 2 months because I'm a lot freer now. All right, see you guys. Peace.